Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. What's going on, everybody? What's up? What's up? Okay, they got sons, y'all. Whatever the young lady name is, Obsidian already covered it. There's no really any reason to say her name. I feel like I've seen her before though. The light skinned young lady that Obsidian covered. I've seen her before somewhere on social media. This is not the first time I've seen that young lady. Shout out to the conservative young lady that covered the story also. Sage Steele, Candace Owens, yeah, that type. Yeah, so and her surprise, black women were clapping it up. But yeah, no, you were not surprised that black women were agreeing with the young lady about the emotional lift of black men, that of dating black men, or the emotional labor and yada yada yada. Y'all are saying this in front of white men, y'all. Y'all are asking to be praised. You know, shout out to all the brothers on social media that actually encourage black women to date out once they start talking reckless. We know how this look, y'all. So let me get this right. You feel like there's too much emotional labor dating black men, and you're saying this in front of white men. You think it's less emotional labor dating and being married to white men? Oh my God. All right, all right, all right, all right. Remember, she said this with her son in the car, right? The young lady said this with her son in the car. I also put another link in for Bernard Riley speaking about Rebecca Lynn Pope and her conversation, and her kind of going further and further into the divest lane. Yeah, nothing to see here. Nothing new. Yes, we did see this with the Kevin Samuels debacle and her trying to cop pleas and crying and pretty much calling the young lady who's older than Mr. Z, and I'm in my mid-30s, a girl. Okay, and these are the same people that talk about we infantilize black men, right? We infantilize black men, but the second a black man speaks to a black woman about her shortcomings, all of a sudden that black woman is a girl. Okay, all right, yeah, that's it. Yep. All of a sudden he's barking at her and he's yelling at her. The man could have this tone right here, the whole conversation, speaking like this, like Mr. Z right here with the monotone, right? And being very soothing and calming with my voice. But guess what? It doesn't matter, because what he says we disagree with. And because we disagree with it, he's yelling at her, right? Because what he says is coming off harsh, even if he uses this tone right here. Because what he says we have an issue with, even though he's using this tone right here, he's yelling at her. Because what he says, even if he's using this tone right here, he's being mean. Yeah. Remember, these people have sons, y'all. And on that note, black men raised by black people, that's either a couple or a single mother, who date and then marry outside of the black race. And we wonder why. These are their mothers talking crap about black men in front of them. You wonder why your son is same-sex loving. These are their mothers talking crap about straight black men in front of them. It's fascinating to watch the outcome of someone's actions or someone's belief system or someone's feelings or someone's thought process, and then them try to cop please after the fact. Your children are a reflection of your worldview. And when it turned out ugly, and yes, your children, as they become older and they're adults and they have their own autonomy, and yes, but overall, your children are a reflection of your worldview. So when we see that your son, raised by primarily you as a mother, single mother, is now married outside the race or doesn't even date the same race, now what? Doesn't date outside the race, I mean, doesn't date within the race, marries outside the race, maybe doesn't even date or marry the opposite sex. Now what? Right? Now what? What we have is just a bunch of people cop and please. And contrary to popular belief, especially for those of us younger Xers, millennials, older Gen Z, our mothers tried this too. They tried to shame you, insult you, guilt you, use your father as some type of example of what not to be. Insult you're not who you are. You goes in with you. Just how's that looking? These women have sons. These women speak reckless around. These women speak reckless about black men in front of their sons. These women bring their sons around other women, speaking recklessly about black men. This lady made a whole recording with her son in the back seat. Had thousands of women clapping it up for her, black women clapping it up for her. When I said the internet's gonna expose us all, I gotta keep on bringing this up over and over and over again. Mr. Z, how often are you gonna say it? All the time. Mr. Z, how often you're gonna say it? Yes. Right? When I say the internet's going to expose us all, pre-social media, pre the internet, how many of us would have known about the book, The Dating Divide? Right? How many of us would have known about the book, The Dating Divide? And then how fast would the knowledge that's coming from the information that's coming from the book, The Dating Divide, how fast would that be able to be, propagated throughout this black man space we call the black manosphere online? Right? But now we all know the talking points. We all know the data. And what the data says is that none of this is true. Black women, just like other women of color, are really just trying to end up with white dudes. So all the talk of emotional intelligence, all the talk of black men not having college degrees, all the talk of black men not being good fathers, not being good boyfriends and husbands, all of it is just an appeal to white men to come pick them up. It's just covert language from dear white daddy, please. All of this attempting to gaslight black men, like I said before in my previous stream, all of this attempting to gaslight black men about these omnipotent, omniscient supermen that are called white men, Latino men. All of it is just a gaslight trick. But really, it's to appeal to the white man. Please, Mr. White Zad, save me from Blackistan. Is it working? Of course not. Is it ever going to work? Not as long as America is a country. Now, the young lady did try to walk it back after the fact. She played a video after, and she tried to walk it back a bit. But the damage is already done. Rebecca Lynn Pope didn't try to walk back anything. But the young lady who made the video about the emotional labor of being with black men, etc., 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 yeah, she tried to walk it back. Now, I'm kind of mad that Obsidian pretty much stole exactly what I was gonna say. The second I heard Rebecca Lynn Pope speak, I was like, oh, Rebecca Lynn Pope don't realize we're not in the 90s anymore. She literally is doing her best rendition of Waiting to Excel talking points. Rebecca Lynn Pope think we still in the 90s. Oh, they're gay, they're in jail, right? They're gay, they're in jail, they're dating out, they're not educated, they're not on our level. This is all like straight out of the 90s talking about. Once Obsidian said that, I was like, God damn, now when I say it, it's gonna sound like I'm copying him. Because that's the first, and mind you, Obsidian has Mr. Z by almost 20 years in age. If not somewhere, I think that Obsidian's somewhere in his mid-50s, right? So how is it that a brother that's ADOS that has Mr. Z by damn near 20 years, and Mr. Z, who's Haitian descent, grew up in South Florida, Obsidian grew up in Philly, and yet we both thought the same exact thing when we heard Rebecca Lynn Pope speak. We thought the exact same thing. Rebecca Lynn Pope think we in the 90s, right? She think we somewhere around TLC No Scrubs, Waiting to Excel era. And by the way, it's not working. To the gay young man that's supposedly a matchmaker with all this, expand your options. It's not with Obsidian. By the way, that's another thing Obsidian said that I've said before. I actually made whole streams about it. Dear black women, black men are the best you got. Uh-oh. For the vast majority of black women, it's black men or bust. Oh yeah, it's black men or bust. You don't. That's it. Y'all can talk all y'all want. That's it. Y'all can keep on gaslighting each other. Oh, we just need to expand our options. We need to get around white men or non-black men. We need to go, explore our options and try different endeavors and put ourselves in these people's environment. I don't know how often to say this. It's called a racial hierarchy for a reason. These men are not, even the book said it, right? The dating divide. Your advances and they ignore them, number one. Number two, put you in just the sexual conquest category. Right? Dear black women, it's never been your loyalty. It's never been about your loyalty. It's about white men maintaining their power position. In other words, I'll have sex with a black woman. If she gets pregnant, we'll have a oops baby. I won't marry her though. Anybody ever heard of Kid Rock? Yikes. Anybody ever heard of Machine Gun Kelly? Yikes. Right? This is what it is. This is before we get to black women's attitude or their weight, right? Before we get to that, y'all have to contend with the fact that white men are like, yeah, this white supremacy though, this white power, see, I really want my dad's classic Mustang, and I don't know if my mom would give it to me if I marry a black woman. That part. My granddad has an old, 80s Chevy truck that I really, really want. My granddad has it, and I don't know if my grandma will give it to me if I marry a black woman. That part. Right? Somewhere in my family is floating around a 69 Charger, and I don't know if I'll get it if I marry a black woman. That part. I'm next up in line to get my grandparents home, and I don't know if I'll get it if I marry a black woman. That part. Right? You would think black women being in this country for some 400 or 500 years now, and I know about slavery. I know where the brothers are going. I already know what y'all's go where I'm going. I'm saying what I'm saying for a reason, right? You would think they would know better. You would think they understand the power structure. You would think they would know better than try to gaslight black men with something we know ain't happening. But they can't help it because they're so angry and resentful. They can't help it. They can't help but use the same tools they always use that keep on failing. They can't help it, right? They can't help it. To see this young lady have her son in the back seat talking reckless about black men, to see that other women clapped it up for her. Nobody thought, is it actually is it smart to be talking about black men like this with your son in the back seat? See, a black man, excuse me, speaking recklessly about black women while his daughter was in the back seat, it would be all type of talks about verbal abuse or child abuse or something like that, right? Something like that would have been said. You're grooming her to be preyed on by some black man in the future. All type of talk. But once again, because we in the black community assume that black women are morally superior, and that just because a black woman had a child means that she's a good mother, just because a black woman is present, and that's arguable, means that she's a good mother. Because we speak like that and we make those assumptions in the black community, it doesn't matter what a black mother does, she's a good black mother. It doesn't matter what she does, what she says, how she comports herself, what she says around her children, what she exposes her children to, she's a good mother. All right. And then Rebecca Lynn Pope turns around and does her best rendition of 1990s, black conversation in America. Right? Huh. Let's get into that. Date out then. Dear Rebecca Lynn Pope, just advise whoever you're speaking to date out. All the women, just tell them to date out. Be like the gay brother and just tell them to date out. No, black men are not going to get any better. Date out. Marry out. We know how that's going to turn out, and I'm even getting to the point of, screw it. Don't even tell them. Just let them go. We know how that turned out, and don't accept them back when they try to come back. Haha. Right. Mr. Z is not about black women insulting, demeaning, belittling black men, leaving the black community for a decade or two, attempting to make it work with non-black men, failing at that mission, and then coming back trying to speak pro-black. No, stay over there. Right? If you fail at swirling and divesting, then you stay where you were. If these non-black men are so great, and all the best relationships I've ever had were with non-black men, you've been dating outside of your race for 15 years. Where's the ring? Uh-oh. You've been dating outside of your race for a decade. Where's the ring? Uh-oh. right? No. If you sound like Rebecca Lynn Pope, if you sound like the young lady in the car with her son, and you go out there and attempt to make it work with the first white dude, fail, second white dude, fail, Latino dude, fail, other white dude, fail, a Latino dude again, fail, you magically get your hands on an Asian dude, fail, and then you try to come back to the black community? No. Nope. Stay over there. Right? Meanwhile, the whole entire time you telling black men how great these non-black men are and how well they treat you and how they buy you stuff, and they damn near they buy houses the first date. Whatever clip that was, and yeah, I saw the clip from Medium Man originally. Yes, I saw that when he posted it. Whatever young lady that was that said that they paying for stuff. They stop. Y'all know that black men know white men, right? You know that black men know white men better than black women know white men. Let me say that again. Black men know white men better than black women know white men. You know that, right? You know we know you lying, right? You know we know you're gaslighting us, right? Well, you're attempting to gaslight us. You know that. These white men are damn near buying houses on the first date. What? What happened to that young lady that tried saying that on Twitter, and then white men descended on her comments talking about, what are you talking about? Who are these white guys you're talking about? Paying to get her nails done and her hair did before the first date. Who are these white men? And that was white men saying that. Real white men, not black men pretending to be white men. See, when y'all don't get around, when y'all not around those gaslight, those fake ass white dudes that pretend like that's what they about. When y'all around white dudes that's like, yeah, I'm so tired of black women trying to use me as weapons against black men, and they start checking y'all both in person and online, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Mr. Z gets secondhand embarrassment. It's embarrassing. Right? It's embarrassing. These non-black men, they do it like this, and white men with and you know what it really is. The same thing I say about the African brothers, particularly Nigerian brothers. Shout out to y'all, right? What it really is y'all look at white guys like big dumb lames with money, naive, dumb, lame, don't know the dating game, don't know women, um, you know, easily swayed by vagina. Y'all look at white men like, I'm gonna put this chocolate on him and he gonna just melt. And they play you, and now you looking sick. Right? That's what all this weird gaslighting talk is. Oh, these white guys, they pay for this and they do that and they do this on the first date. First, you wish. Secondly, the white guys come in the comments and tell you, what are you talking about? No, we don't. Third, once again, you wish. This is the movie that's playing on in your head. Because you look at white guys as marks. You look at them as naive and gullible when it comes to black women. They may understand the way Amy works, right? They understand the way white women work. They understand how Heather works. They don't understand how black women work. So you think you're going to play them. Right? You think you're going to play them. Meanwhile, only 1% of white men are married to black women. Who's playing who? You want to tell me only 1% of white men have had sex with black women in America? Something like 4% of black women are married to white men. You want to say only 4% of black women have had sex with white men in America? Who's playing who? Who's truly the gullible one? Who's truly the naive one? And y'all have sons. We watched as the black woman with what, 3, 4 kids got murdered by a white police officer because he's cheating on his wife with her. Something went down and he kills her. Mr. Z suspects that she got pregnant. Why is Mr. Z bringing this story up? Because she had children. What you thought you would, and rest in peace to the young lady, you thought you were going to play a white man with a kid? Oh, I'm pregnant. Yeah, y'all could pull that on black men. You can't pull that on no white man. Oops, baby, from a white man, and not no young gullible white man. No, this is he's a police officer. He's established. He's married. You think you're gonna pull oops baby on a white man? You're gonna pull a oops baby on a white man? Like, and it's so unfortunate. And you know, he deletes her. These are black women with children, everyone, with sons, talking reckless about black men, speaking about how great white men are. 20 years later, your son is the bust down for a white dude. God damn, Mr. Z. "20 years later, it's not your daughter swirling, it's your son swirling with dudes." Ugh. Right? Huh. So, black women with children, with sons, speaking reckless about black men in front of their children, in front of their sons. Huh. Speaking about how great non-black men, how great white men are in particular, in front of their sons, in front of their sons, in front of their sons. Speaking about how black women need to expand their options in front of their sons. Right? Hmm. And then Rebecca Lynn Pope, who was on the Roommates and told you the real about how delusional black women are, is now doubling back, coming back and saying, "Oh, by the way, actually, yeah, black women." And she did that earlier this year, right, or late last year. Black, she said that again. This is not the first time. She said it sometime in the recent past that black women are outpacing black men. Then date out. Then date out. Right. Then marry out. Right. And Big Kev says, and thank you for the super chat. Big Kev says it's actually 1%, 4% of black women that were married. Right. 4%. 4%. You know, it's possible that black men and black women, because of college and university, and yes, we still grow up in the same neighborhood, still attend the same churches, still largely watch the same television shows and movies, although social media is different, right? We're still raised by the same single mothers. It's very possible that because of the way the world has, especially in the West, has the way the world is treating women in particular in this particular era, Black women in particular, it's very possible that Black men and Black women just fundamentally have different ideas about what racism and white supremacy truly is, right? And it's very possible that Black women don't see racism or white supremacy until they can't date or marry the type of men they think they deserve, or they feel, better yet, they deserve. White supremacy isn't real until Tyrone dates a light-skinned Black woman. White supremacy isn't real until Hector doesn't date Black women. White supremacy isn't real until Brad doesn't marry Black women, right? White supremacy isn't real until you realize that the Asian dude doesn't even see Black women. It's not a thing, not in his world. Maybe we just have fundamentally different ideas about racism, about anti-Blackness, about the racial hierarchy. It's very possible that as much as the world says Black women, your issue with men of color is that they're simply not interested, maybe not because of your physique, maybe not because of your skin tone, but because they want to maintain the racial hierarchy. And marrying Black women in any significant number undermines the racial hierarchy. And these men will just not do that. Not in any significant number. Latino men leave their countries, their home countries, their parents leave their home countries colorist as hell. When they come to America, that does not change. Just because Hector was born in America does not mean that he's not colorist like his granddad and his father was before him. Right? Just because Brad goes to lunch with you guys and he eats with you guys and he knows how to do a two-step and he has nothing but rap music in his car, right? Does not mean that a Black wife is in his purview. Right? Just because he's encouraging you to talk reckless about Black men does not mean he's going to marry a Black woman. Just because he's currently having sex with a Black woman does not mean he's going to marry a Black woman. I would like to direct y'all to the Media Man and Obsidian reading The Dating Divide. Right? And y'all are speaking like this in front of the children, in front of your sons. And then you wonder why when your son becomes an adult and becomes successful, he has a Latina on his arm. All the words you said, all the ways you tried to make him be, air quotes, loyal to Black women. Meanwhile, you talking crap about Black men and then saying that Black men aren't loyal to Black men. Excuse me, Black men aren't loyal to Black women. You're saying this in front of your son. You try to force him onto Black women. Excuse me, Black girls when he's young. And then he still end up with a Latina. And you don't understand how you contributed to that. Ignoring the plights of Black men, ignoring the struggles of Black men in the dating scene, and hyping up whatever Black women are saying. And you're doing that in front of your sons. Video after video Media Man played. Video after video of Black women claiming they're so loyal to Black men. And more data is coming out. Yeah, no, you're not. The white men are just not checking. And if they are checking, they just checking for some fetishy thing. Shout out to the young lady I covered the other day that straight up said it. Yeah, I'm not trying to be no fetish for no white dude. So you have Rebecca Lynn Pope, you have the light-skinned young lady, you have the other light-skinned young lady that covered it, you have the gay brother, all these people gaslighting Black women with this talk of these omnipotent, omniscient, non-Black dudes, primarily white dudes. As if black women aren't already dating outside the race. How's that working for them? As if black women are not already having sex outside the black race. How's that working for them? As if black women aren't open to interracial relationships. How's that working for them? Right? And Detroit says, and thank you for the super chat. Detroit says, notice how they keep saying some, but we even black women know, but even black women know it's the most or majority when they're changing the subject on themselves. Look, I think what we're dealing with, like I said, is, and I've said this before on other streams, trying to reconcile feminism and female empowerment with the elements of patriarchy you want to keep. And if you have a neoliberal worldview, a neoliberal view of men, right? If you have a neoliberal view of men and you want to maintain feminism and female empowerment while keeping the parts of patriarchy that says that men are supposed to be protectors and providers, then you will sound like the women of color that sound like this, the black women that sound like this. And you will tend to steer towards white men. Why not? Right? Why not? And I would argue that more women of color than men of color would ever want to accept, think, and feel like this. Right? This is when we get to speak about projecting. How much of this is actually women of color projecting what they feel about white women and white men onto men of color and what they feel we feel? Right? They're projecting. Right? Huh. If you were living in the 21st century and you have a neoliberal assessment of men, where men are nothing but a walking wallet and a status symbol, then why wouldn't you be head over heels for white men? Right? If you want your female empowerment on men's dime, then why wouldn't you be head over heels for white men? If you were educated / indoctrinated in a Prussian style school system in America, then why wouldn't you be head over heels for white men? And saying it in front of your black sons. Saying this in front of your black nephews, in front of your black grandsons. Right? Why wouldn't you? What we have here is women exposing themselves on the interwebs. And the more you let them speak, the more they expose themselves. And the more data comes out, the more you realize what they're actually saying. 3,000 words just to say a sentence that could have only been 5 words, 10 words. I want to live the upper middle class, rich white woman's life. They will write books, paragraphs, articles for days, and all it boils down to is, I'm jealous of Karen. And they will say this in front of their sons. You wonder why Junior came home with the Latina. You wonder why Junior came home with the white girl. You wonder why Junior came home with the Asian girl. You wonder why Junior came home with another dude. And yet you were speaking like this about black men his entire life. And speaking so positively about white men. Now Junior got a white boyfriend. Yikes. Ain't that some ish? You have a daughter and a son. You talk reckless about black men. Now your children are adults. Your daughter struggles to make it work with any man, and your son comes home with a white dude. God damn. Right? Your son is the one that come home with the white dude. All that reckless talking. Right? And Rebecca Lynn Pope, you know Rebecca Lynn Pope knows better. Everybody here knows Rebecca Lynn Pope. She knows better. But the sisterhood, y'all, the sisterhood. That sisterhood is real. Y'all remember when she was speaking about the young lady that the average at best young lady, and she started fake weeping. Even Succus Ray called that out. Not that particular situation, but all it takes for women to listen to other women is once you turn on the waterworks, that's it. That's like their signal to each other. Turn on the waterworks and other women start feeling for you. Oh God, she's crying. Whatever she said, he did it. Turn on the crocodile tears and I feel her pain. So women just complain about black men all day, talking to us reckless. I want everybody pause right here. Let's pause right here. Let's pause right here. We live in a world in the 21st century where black women are telling us that white men are more emotionally intelligent than black men are. Uh-oh. What y'all forgot about that panel with the three mixed women talking about how white men, when they're with white men touch their soul and white men know how to treat them. Then you have the other light-skinned young lady that was part of the clips that Medium Man played, that Obsidian played, speaking about, oh yeah, white men do this and they do that. The light-skinned young lady speaking about the emotional labor that black women have to do with black men, as in compared to who? Huh. We live in the 21st century. So let me get this right. White women are divorcing white men. They're saying white men are emotionally intelligent. They're saying white men are crass. White men are mean. All of this. White men don't cook. White men are there, but they're not actually involved fathers. And then black women come right behind those white women and say, yeah, black men are worse. As a matter of fact, I want to marry that white man you just divorced. I'll marry him. Right? Because he knows how to value women. He's emotionally intelligent. White women will tell you Brad is not emotionally intelligent. All he has is a bit of stability, maybe a couple dollars. And black women will come right after Karen and say, yeah, I'll take it. right? Right? Even Julesy played the clips from TikTok of white women complaining about how their white husbands are really not involved. They're really not doing nothing. They're just there. Just go to work, come home, sit on the couch, play video games, or watch football or basketball or something. To then turn around and have black women tell you how you're not emotionally intelligent, how you're not involved, how Brad knows how to treat them better. Because they feel like because Brad threw them $100, that means something. Dear black men, let me say this again. Let me tie the video I made about the upcoming aristocracy with this. If you think black women are getting played now, if you think Brad is using them now, wait until Brad grandma dies and he get that $200,000-$300,000. You think they playing black women now? When he has money where he could just flick her a little $200-$300 here and there, do you understand how much the white guys that they still won't marry black women, but they could throw the black women a little dollar here, a little dollar there? Do you know what these white dudes are gonna be doing to black women? You think these black women are doing something strange for some change in the Middle East? You think they're doing something strange for some change in Dubai? Wait until these white men start getting their grandparents and their parents' money. Right? Wait. When he start offering her $1,500 to do the most insane jump off the ceiling fan type of tricks. Right? Because if she's doing it for free now, what's she gonna do when he put a couple $100 on the table? And these are the women with sons. We already know they okay with being the bust down for white dudes, even though they have fully black children. We already know they'll have black husbands and be cheating on those black husbands with their white coworkers. It happens. So what happens now when your white coworker has $300,000 at his disposal? He already has a house. He's already married. He has already had kids. And now his parents died or his grandparents died and they left him $250,000. Now what? Right? You already saw this story, Kendra G, when she was speaking to the lady, and the lady told her, "Yeah, I was married to a white man, and he cheated on me with another black woman. I found him in my bed." Oh yeah, and that's a regular Brad. What happens when Brad has $250,000 burning a hole through his pocket? If he already cheated on you with another sister now, what is he going to be doing when he has $300,000 burning a hole in his pocket? God forbid he gets 500,000. Right? And these women have sons. These women have children. Right? And before I read your comment, Detroit, let's read Trail's comment because he covered it. Oxford, Mississippi, was that Mississippi? I think Mississippi, 70 miles from Memphis. Yeah. Oh no, Tennessee, right? Wait. Okay, yeah. Um, we'll just go from 70 miles. 70 miles from Memphis. Um, her black son found her dead after white officer killed her because he wasn't leaving his white wife. That's the story I was talking about earlier. And that's just one. We already know about Brad and Keisha getting into an argument, and then the last time you saw them, they were in an argument, and then next time we see Keisha, she's floating in a lake somewhere. We already know about them stories. What those stories gonna look like when he has $250,000 to pay for the baddest attorneys? Shit, he was already getting away with the crime anyway. Allegedly. Allegedly. Oh yeah. And she left a son, right? And she left some kids behind. See, when you get wrapped up in the anger you feel in the moment, right? And the I want to get back at black men, and you get wrapped up in that in the moment, and you say reckless things, and young people are listening to you, or the emotional women who just broke up with their boyfriend yesterday are listening to you. You don't understand how you're weaponizing the moment, right? You don't actually see, these are the people that want us to words can be violent and language can be violent. These are the same people that say that turn around and weaponize their words against other black women, because you send other black women out there to get their heads taken off by white dudes, maybe even literally, right? Now they straight up lying to us. Who was it? Was it on Kim Foster's channel where they were speaking about single mothers, and then some gaslighting liar ass black woman talking about, yeah, the white men are more likely to accept you if you're a single mother. Also, I damn near coughed up my juice. So they going that far now. Now white men are more accepting of single mothers than black men. I want to say it was on Kim Foster's channel. It might have been someone else's channel. Now black women think they can lie. They're so bold with the lying. Now they're telling you Brad is more accepting of them being a single mother. Yeah, if he's piping, if that's all he's gonna do, show me the hordes of white dudes accepting black women with fully black children, and he's marrying her. Show me that. Show me all the Brads. Show me all the Latinos. We ain't even gonna mention the Asians. That's not a topic. That's not even worth having a conversation about. These people are so, look, I can't even say you think I'm stupid, because there's no way you think Mr. Z and other black men are that dumb, but you do. You do think we're that dumb. But where do you have to be mentally to say, you know what? I know how I'm going to gaslight black men. I'm going to tell black men in America in the 21st century, in this country, here, the US, 50 states, 50 stars, red, white, and blue, this country, Mustangs and American Pie, this country here, F-16s, F-15s, F-22s, F-35s, that country. All that aircraft carriers and submarines and nuclear weapons, that country. Manifest Destiny, slaves, slaughtering the indigenous folks, that country. George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Barack Obama, George W. Bush, the McCains, that family. I mean, excuse me, that country. I'm going to say in that country in the 21st century, that white men, let's say it again, white men are more likely to accept me as a single mother than black men are. Right? Wow. Right? And Detroit says, and thank you for the super chat, Detroit. Detroit says, black women and white men has the same divorce rate as white women and white men. According to black women, no, they don't. According to black women, the lowest divorce rate in America is between white men and black women. Right? Peak with peak, right? Vincent LeBeau, peak with peak. I'm greatest in my race, you're the greatest in your race, so when we get together, we're unstoppable. Right? And to be frank, Vincent LeBeau and his wife are just ahead of the curve because they're overtly saying what black women across the country and really across the planet are implying and suggesting. As a matter of fact, women of color around the planet, but definitely in America, definitely women of color in America are implying subtly. Some black women are saying it more and more overtly, but Vincent LeBeau is just ahead of the curve at actually saying it, peak with peak. White men with black women. White men hold up the white race, black women hold up the black race. And so when black women and white men get together, they're unstoppable. Vincent LeBeau is just ahead of the curve by actually saying it. Some of these swirlers and divestors, they're not there yet. Give them another year or two. Right? Huh. Once again, and some of these women have sons. We got to keep on coming back to it. They will tell you how great white men are, how great non-black men are. And as you can see, this is no different, by the way, than the pictures we see where the women are taking pictures with their booty out, right? With their ass out, and their son or their daughter is right behind them. Their little toddler is right behind them in the bathroom. This is no different than the women that are telling or demanding their children record them wearing something skimpy, take pictures of them wearing something skimpy. This is no different than that. Talking reckless about black men in front of your black children, there's no different in that. And also asking your children or demanding that your children take pictures of you wearing something skimpy, right? There's no difference. And that's what we find. These people are doing that in front of their son. The twin taking that picture with the or taking the photo shoot and asking her son what he think. And even her son, what is he, 12 or something? Even her son was like, yeah, no, mom. And it's making me uncomfortable. Would your 12-year-old son know better than you? You're not embarrassed? That's the world we're living in the 21st century. So once again, white men are more emotionally intelligent than you. They're raised to build what you had, the other black woman that was part of the panel. It looked like she was on the crew, right? Speaking about, oh yeah, well, you know, they don't feel threatened by black women and black women's power, and yawn. First, you're talking about men that were raised to be patriarchs, maybe not being threatened by women's power. Let me say that again. White men who possibly could have been raised to be patriarchs, not being threatened by women's power, black women's power. Do you even understand what you're saying? If anyone would be threatened by women's power, especially a woman of color, a black woman's power, who wouldn't it be than a white man that was raised to be a patriarch? That's why I say let them talk. You let them talk long enough, you see how inconsistent what they're saying is, how it doesn't make any sense. Because what they're really trying to do is just get at you, insult you, belittle you, gaslight you, demean you, question your masculinity and your manhood. And sometimes what that means is that this thing is not going to be the same as that thing. I'm going to say something and it's going to contradict with something I said 2 seconds ago. Right? I'm going to say one thing and it's going to contradict against something else. To see Rebecca Lynn Pope really use 1990s language in the 21st century against black men? Right? Fine, black women are outpacing black men, then date out. Date out, date same sex. There you go. Largest group of same sex lovers, black women. Well, when you have contempt for manhood and masculinity, particularly black men and black masculinity, and you claim about how loyal you are to black men, and then you go try to date out and you fail at it, guess what? Guess what's left? Have fun eating the box. By the way, it's up, down. Up, down is better than alphabets, by the way. Giggity for all my people that caught what I'm talking about. Right? And that's only if you can't isolate the red button. If you can isolate the red button, focus on that. Trimmer in no time. That's a little word of advice for you if you're gonna go down that road. And a good quarter of you are gonna go down that road. Yikes. Talking about love is love. Yeah, that's it. Right? And Indigo Flow says, and thank you for the super chat. Indigo Flow says, I think they're trying to cop the weaponized incompetence narrative from white feminists now, too. Hope I'm wrong. Look, and yeah, no, I think that's on its way. I think that's on its way. I think, as I've heard it a couple of times actually, and it's just talk. And look, all of this is gaslighting techniques. It's a power game. It's gaslighting techniques to make you move the way they want you to move. No, go end up with the white dude or go end up in a same-sex relationship. No. How about that? No. There you go. Just no. All right. All this insulting black men, all of this gaslighting, now it's weaponized incompetence. Just go. And that's, to sum up what Rebecca Lynn Pope was saying, that's what it is. Right? To sum up what she was saying. And actually, the young lady in the car, too, with her son, all of that is they're not on our level. Now they're weaponizing. You know what that is? And my mom used to say this to me when I was younger. And some of you might have heard this before. You do something reckless as a kid, and then your parents swear you did it on purpose. No, you just were being a kid. You didn't wake up in the morning saying, you know what? I'm going to piss mom off today by doing something I'm not supposed to do. No, you just was doing whatever you wanted to do, and then you got caught or you got in trouble for it. You didn't weaponize being a child. And that's how they see it. They think you're waking up with, let's take that back. They're telling themselves that you're waking up and weaponizing the fact that you don't think and feel the way they do. Imagine, first of all, incompetence. As I said about that moral supremacy, right? They really believe they hold the moral high ground. They're calling you incompetent. They're calling you incompetent. Then weaponize incompetence. Why? Because we're not going to move the way you move. We're not going to college. Oops. Why would we want to be in that feminized ass place? Nope. You can have it. We're not going to be teachers. Why do we want to be in that place with all the feminazis? Nope. You can have that too. right? Weaponized incompetence. In other words, why can't you just be who I want you to be? You're incompetent. No, we just don't move the way you move. We don't think the way you think. We don't feel the way you feel. You could have the game. Here, take it. See, that's not how it was supposed to go. They were supposed to gaslight you, and you were supposed to chase after them, trying to appease them. You weren't supposed to throw your hands up and walk away from the table. That's not what was supposed to happen. She was supposed to shame you into making you who she wanted you to be. You weren't supposed to throw your hands up, walk away from the table, and say, whoever got next, you could go. That's not supposed to happen. Weaponized incompetence. Sis, who? Who are you? We gotta just start asking them straight up, who are you? I'm all about asking black women, but who are you? Not to say they're nobodies, but kind of. Who are you? Who died and made you queen universe? Oh yeah, you really do think y'all really think y'all queen mother goddess, at least to black men. Y'all done bought into your own hype so much. Once again, and they're doing this in front of their sons. Right? This reminds me of, and I brought this up before, the Grapevine. And they were having a conversation about similar subject. And Carl said something like, but there's men that are okay with female leadership. I'm paraphrasing, but Carl was essentially saying, and Carl was the chubby Haitian cat, and Carl was essentially saying like, yo, there's men that are okay with with female leadership. Why don't y'all get down with those men? And like the women look like they damn near short circuited, right? Like exactly, you don't want those men. You want to break wolves. I said this before. You don't want domesticated dogs. You want to break a wolf. You want to domesticate a wolf. This is power thing. This is that whole, I have this thing where I always want to work on the bad guys. No, your sense of power comes from breaking a wolf. You're nothing better than a slave catcher. Yeah, we broke his will. They don't want a domesticated dog. No challenge there. They want to break a wolf. Notice I'm not saying domesticate a wolf. I'm saying break a wolf. This is some pimp shit. Right? Weaponized incompetence. Weaponize your incompetence. And remember, they have sons. You talk like this in front of your black son and you wonder why he doesn't come home with a black woman. You wonder why maybe he don't even come home with a woman. You imagine your mother speaking like this around you for 18 years. You go away to college and you meet a Latina that's actually nice and doesn't talk crap about black men. You meet a white woman that's actually nice and she's intrigued by you. She doesn't take black masculinity for granted. She doesn't feel so familiar with black men that she has contempt for black men. Ooh, Mr. Z. Y'all want to know why so many black women aren't taking Dr. T. Hassan Johnson's class? They think they know you already. It's all negative stereotypes, by the way, but they think they know you already. They feel so familiar. Right? Was it Dr. T or was it Dr. Green Gorilla that said that they went to a conference about this type of stuff and the women brought up Boys in the Hood as a way, oh, if you want to know about black men, just watch Boys in the Hood. They think they know you. Imagine that. Growing up with these girls that become women and their reference about you is a pop culture movie from the 90s. Imagine that. And they're saying this in front of non-black folks. Imagine that. Right? And these are the people, once again, with sons. They have sons. This young lady spoke reckless about black men with her son in the back seat. And it's covered by homegirl, the conservative. I told you, these women are liberal until it's time to talk about black men. Then they turn really conservative. That's why she was like, "Oh, I was so surprised that I thought black women this is racist and but they were in agreement." Yeah, because when it comes to black men, they turn into foaming at the mouth KKK members. Forget just conservatives; they fall off the table. I know somewhere in Mr. Z's comments is going to be someone that says, "But the Democrats with the KKKs." You're right. Ain't nobody ever want to talk about the party switch, but that's a different conversation. They turn into neo-Nazis when it comes time to talking to you, about you, right? The most left-leaning black woman, when it comes time to talk about black men, it's pull yourself up by your bootstraps and all type of talk. And these women have sons. These women have sons. Talking reckless about you, and they have sons. They have nephews. Chrissy has a brother. Chrissy has a nephew, if I'm not mistaken. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't her brother end up with a non-black woman? Has mixed children? And you see how she speak about black men? She told you her stepdad is involved in her life. She has uncles that'll do anything for her, her brother, and she talk like this about black men. She doesn't have any scarring, thing that happened to her as a child with her stepdad or her brother, and yet she talk like this about black men. There you go. Yanni parents are still married, if I'm not mistaken, and she talk like this about black men. Right? Huh. People with nephews, people with sons. As I said, there's no difference between speaking like this about black men in front of your black son and taking a picture with nothing but a bikini in the mirror in the bathroom and your toddler is sitting right behind you. There is no difference. There is no difference. See, the courts are now getting caught up really on parental alienation. Parents talking reckless about the other parent in front of the child. And we already know women do it the most. Per the courts, women do it the most. Talking reckless, trying to isolate the child from the parent, women do it the most. Now, what about if you expand that out outside of just that individual parent? Where your mother takes you to a hair salon and all they did for the 3, 5, 7 hours she was there is talk crap about men and watch Waiting to Excel type movies. And you sitting there on the chair as a 5, 7, 10-year-old, 15, well, maybe not 15, but 5, 7, 10-year-old. See, the same people that want to continue to expand what abuse means and what it means to be abusive don't actually want men to do the same thing, because it's going to get real ugly, right? It'll get real ugly if we start expanding the definition of abuse. And the definition of violent. These same people want to expand the definition of violent. What about if black men did the same? Right? What about if black men spoke about, hey, okay, yeah, they talking all this crap about black men and hip hop music and whatever. R&B music right now? All these movies, all these articles, all these commentators. Uh-oh. The entire aura of the black community as it currently stands. The entire orientation of the black community as it currently stands. If black men truly play tit for tat with black women, like they swear black men are trying to do right now, it wouldn't look pretty. Like I said in the other stream, black women, y'all already shot all y'all nuclear weapons. That's why Rebecca Lynn Pope got to talk about stuff from the 90s. That's why it sounds like she fell out of the 1990s. Once again, I'm glad Obsidian caught that too, because that's the same thing I thought. It sounded like Rebecca Lynn Pope fell right out of the 90s. Right? That's why they got to double back with old talking points. Y'all already shot all of the nuclear weapons are gone out the bay. You shot all the nuclear weapons from the subs. You shot all the nuclear weapons out of the planes. You shot all the ground-based nuclear weapons. You shot the ICBMs. They're all gone. You don't got nothing left. And black men already weathered the storm. And now what you gonna do? Uh-oh. You have nothing left. Black men secretly gay. Y'all did that already. Black men physically abusive. Y'all did that already. Black men touching on the kids. Y'all did that already. Black men horrible fathers, horrible husbands. Y'all did that already. They're gay. They're in jail. Y'all did that already. They're inept, inadequate men. Y'all did that already. They're actually secretly, really, they're effeminate. Or they're hyper masculine. Y'all did both of those already. Right? All of it. Y'all did it already. Y'all shot all those weapons. Y'all shot them. Right? And KW Dawn says, and thank you for the super chat. KW Dawn says, black women have no power. They are not self-made. They're not. They're not. And some of them realize it, but most don't. And what I mean by that is systemically, right? Some of them realize how NGOs and this subsidy here and that loan there and the government looking out here and the student loans there, they realize that that's what really is propping up all of this black magic, black female magic stuff. The Kim Fosters of the world know that. They know. That's why she never go nowhere near that. See, Paris will talk reckless like that. Kim Foster and Chrissy, they don't go no, because they know what, if they even dare, there's going to be someone like Mr. Z or Obsidian or Medium Man or BGS to be like, wait. I'll list all the government handouts. Chrissy and Kim Foster, they won't go there. Yanni, on the other hand, Paris, on the other hand, I told y'all Paris, I was on the phone with her, but Paris to my face, online streaming, by the way, not literally on the phone, but Paris to my face said, why is it that black women are doing this and black men are not? Translation, I don't need to get it out the mud. The government's gonna look out for me. The society's gonna look out for me. You, on the other hand, why aren't you on my level? Here's the thing, we're above their level. But why aren't you on my level? Why aren't black women on black men's level, even though black women have set asides and lookouts? So, yes, some black women understand that they're not self-made as a group. And others, not so much. It doesn't matter because all of them talk reckless. The ones that know that they have set asides and the ones that don't realize that they have set asides. They're all talking reckless because it's about gaslighting you into being what they think the white man is. And that's a simp with money. A dumb simp that does what his wife says with money. And shout out to Black Uru, like he said, eventually Brad is gonna Brad. Eventually Brad is gonna be Brad. Too many women of color, primarily black women, think Brad is a lick. They think he's dumb. He's a dumb, naive, lame that's stable or that has money. That's why I said, who's really the one who played who? Really, it's the women playing themselves. But who is the one who played who? He got what he wanted. Right? He wanted to dive into chocolate. He did that. He wanted to have rough sex. He did that. He wanted to pipe in the car. He did that. He wanted to get a hotel and pipe. He did that. Why? Because he paid maybe for dinner. Right? What, he paid a car note once or twice? Did you get the ring though? Ooh. Did you even get acknowledged as a girlfriend? We ain't even gonna say wife because they're not marrying y'all in no real number. Did you even get acknowledged as a girlfriend? Or when I spoke to him, did he try to throw it in Mr. Z face? Oh, you know, let me tell you about Sheila over here. Right? He got what he wanted. Did you? In the book, the young lady says it in the book. Once again, the dating divide. That they straight up tell that, how embarrassing is that as a woman for a man to look you in the face and say, yeah, I just want to have sex with you. I'm not marrying a black woman. I'm only gonna marry a white woman. At least he actually said it. You think she's the only one hearing that from white dudes? How many black women are trying to gaslight black men about how great white dudes are, but secretly they're talking like this to black women? Do black women really want to have that conversation? Secretly, they're really saying this to y'all. But when y'all get online, y'all never say that part. And Mr. Z was, I'm going to probably have to do a stream about that too. A comment from a black woman on Twitter about a white guy that she worked with that told, oh yeah, you know, I have this racist friend, but he loves black women. He only has sex with black women, but he's racist as hell and he's married. Something like that, the comment said. Yeah. What movie was it with Lawrence Fishburne and Cicely Tyson? And the white Irish cop always was talking reckless to black people, killed Lawrence Fishburne's cousin, and then when Lawrence Fishburne went to go get some get back, what was going on? I won't even say it. Somebody say it in the comments, I'll highlight it. What was happening when Lawrence Fishburne broke down that door? What did he catch the Irish dude doing? Right? So what you have is this is what these white guys are on. This is what these white guys are on. And yet black women are telling you that black men There's too much emotional labor, right? It's like they hate us. They're telling you that you hate them. They're saying that you hate them. They're saying that black men hate them. And they're doing this once again in front of their sons. They're talking like this once again in front of their sons. But I have to cover that story. And what's fascinating is all through the comments are black women that's like, oh my God, really? Oh my God, really? Now, obviously, there's many black women who were like, yeah, of course. Did we forget what country we live in? Of course. But a significant chunk, maybe even half, were like, oh my God, really? What y'all thought? This is what I forward to black women. And this is going to go against some of the other brothers in the black manosphere say. Yes, can black women afford to lose some pounds, more than some pounds? Of course. Can black women work on that attitude? Of course. But to be frank, that's not why the white dudes ain't checking, bro. They're not checking because they're not going to change that power structure for you. In their mind, you're not worth it. It's that simple. We're not talking about the one odd off white dude that says, screw it, I'm a Mary Sheila. No. But for the most part, the white dude, and the ones that feel a certain way about it, they'll have sex with you. They'll cheat on their wife with you. You'll be their air quotes work wife. But to actually translate that into marriage, that's a different situation. To actually have children in marriage with you, that's a different situation. And to stay, right? And then under the comments on Twitter for that same comment I was telling you guys about was another black woman saying, yeah, either one of her coworkers or her friend coworker or somebody that she knows or she's somewhat loosely attached to, married to a white dude, caught the parents calling her all type of N-word. What you thought? What you thought? Right? Once again, sometimes happening in front of their black sons. Talking about this in front of their black sons. And this is where black women go LGBTQ. You think you're better than your black male counterparts? The white guys in their family are too damn racist. The white women in their family are too damn racist. And there you go. Right? And there you go. Hmm. The reason why I'm covering this today, first of all, it's a great topic. Speaking about women speaking reckless about men in front of their children, in front of their sons, and then the outcome of that, right? This is not about just playing music around your children that's, maybe they shouldn't be listening to. This is gossiping on some men ain't ish stuff in front of your children, primarily your sons. This is about literally recording yourself speaking about black men recklessly in front of your son. This is about bringing your children in environments where y'all are all speaking reckless about black men and doing that in front of your son for hours on end. Right? That's why I'm covering this today. Y'all are speaking like this in front of your sons. And so getting back to what KW Dawn said, yes, these women aren't many of these women aren't self-made. They're not self-made. And you can argue who is truly self-made. That's a real question. What does it mean to be self-made? Did you create yourself? Did you come up out of a vacuum? Did no one teach you? Did no one teach you how to walk, how to write, how to draw, how to spell, how to do math? Did no one teach you the particular subject matter that help you to earn this amount of wealth? Did you not go to college? Did you not have professors? Did you not go to high school? Did you not have teachers? What exactly does it mean to be self-made? Are you not a partner at a firm, or are you not a, an investor with a group of investors? What does it mean to be self-made exactly? Right? What does it mean? And Eric Deadman says, and thank you for the super chat, Eric. Eric Deadman says, I wonder if Chrissy and Yanni truly practice what they preach, or if that is all the grift. Trashing black men is very profitable, bruh. Last time I checked, Chrissy was speaking about dating a white man currently and how she's not dating black men at all right now. She's not interested. And so maybe she's practicing what she preaches. Maybe. Right? Remember, she already told y'all she's like polygynous or polygynous or polyandrous or something like that, right? So she's just out here. And if I'm not mistaken, Chrissy was Chrissy my age, or maybe a couple of years older, maybe a year or two younger. So let's say Chrissy's somewhere between her late 30s to mid 30s to late 30s, right? So maybe she's practicing what she preach, but for someone in their mid to late 30s, it ain't looking good. You've been talking reckless about black men for what, 7-8 years now, right? And you say you went down this villain arc because a certain black manosphere content creator was trying to find out who you are and is trying to dox you. That's your villain origin story. That's what it took. And it was F black men forever. Fine then. But if it's F black men forever, then why haven't you made it work with a non-black man? That's always the question to these wannabe swirlers and divestors, or truly swirlers and divestors. Where is the wedding ring? Y'all don't even be having 5 and 6 year long relationships with the non-black dude, let alone a wedding ring. But y'all talking reckless about black men. Well, where's the wedding ring? Right? And Yanni, on the other hand, I think Yanni still dates black men. But Yanni truly is, and I would say Chrissy too. Yanni screwed herself. She has too much money. And that doesn't mean, I think Yanni's in Houston. She's somewhere in Texas. I want to say Houston, right? And I know there's brothers in Houston that would find Yanni attractive and that have just as much money, if not more than Yanni. The problem is Yanni wants female empowerment and patriarchy at the same time. She wants the provider part of patriarchy, the protector part of patriarchy. But she want to be I am woman, hear me roar. That's why in one of her more recent videos, she was like, we have male and female energy. We're both masculine and feminine. Whenever you hear women say that, what they're truly saying is, I reserve the right to be an a-hole and bark and yell and demean you. And I know that the men with money ain't eating that. The men without money ain't eating that, let alone the men with some stat. The men I find attractive and appealing, they're not gonna eat when I start barking. When I become the mean a-hole, they're not gonna eat that. They got too many options and choices. They don't got to deal with me and my BS. Whenever you hear women say that, that's what they're really saying. That's what they're really saying. So yeah, apparently, Yanni's still getting her little feels off of flirting with dudes and going out. So she says, she still goes out. She, as a matter of fact, on one of those streams, she said she had a date to go to in one of the more recent streams. So cool. But the talking reckless about black men, they mean that. It's debatable whether they practice themselves into that way of thinking, or whether they thought that before and then they started making some money off of YouTube and now they really got to keep on producing that type of content. Either way, this is where they are now. I think Chrissy mean it. I think Yenny mean it. I think Paris somewhat means it, but she's eating right now, so she's not going to stop doing what she's doing. Paris is probably the fakest one out of all of them. Right? Married to some Nigerian cat, $2,000 dinners, talking reckless about black men, dancing on Terry Nichols' grave, being snarky as hell. Now she's trying to switch up her content more and more to that luxury, black girl and luxury content, knowing that 95% of the black women that listen to her are nowhere near that, and nor will they ever be. Right? This is like wealth porn. What Paris Milan is putting out is like wealth porn. It's access porn. It's opulence porn. And she's going to really psychologically mess up a whole lot of women. Now, that's none of our business. That's going to be up for them to figure out. But let it be known and let it be said here on Mr. Z's channel. She's going to mess up a lot. Because at least Yanni does this tacit little, I don't have a problem with working class. At least Yanni tries to reel it back. She tried to reel it back just a little bit. For the average woman, she tried to reel it back just a little bit. Not Paris. And you could tell Yanni don't know what she's talking about because she'll try to reel it back, but then at the same time say she wants to be a woman of leisure. Yanni, you're earning 6 figures for YouTube. You're making good YouTube money. You want to meet a man and marry, well, at least him take care of you that earns more. Have fun with that. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but have fun with that. As you can see from all the entertainers that Mr. Z lists, it ain't looking good for them. All those extra entertainers, black women entertainers, it's not looking good. Black women are the ones who screw themselves when they start making too much. They make too much, and then now they don't want to date down, and then they try to date outside the race, and those white dudes treat them just like how they treat the black women with no money. It's just horrible, right? So, to answer your question more succinctly, yeah, they're getting money off of trash and black men. And I think that some of them are true believers. I think Chrissy, because of colorism and her ideas of colorism, is a true believer. I think Yanni, because of her weight issues when she was younger, she's a true believer. And Yanni gets off on her having the shape she has now and the fact that, a lot of black men find her attractive and like they chase after her. I wish I could show all them brothers before they even send her a drink. Be like, hey, look, this is her page right here. You see how she talking reckless? You still want to send her a drink? This is what she think about black men. You still want to send her a drink? You still gonna go try to flirt with her? Look what she think about you. These women need to come with receipts on their forehead. Right? Have the tendency to curse a man out for no reason. Secretly really wants a white man. Good to practice parental alienation. Etc., etc. Right? And thank you for the super chat, Afro National. And Afro National says, familiarity breeds contempt. Salute Z. Yes, Afro National. Yeah, exactly. That was my point. Yes. To speak a little bit about that, like I said, them knowing you, they feel like they know you. Now it's all negative stereotypes, and that's interesting. Black women speak as if they love you, even they love you through the BS, right? They love you through the BS. They claiming they love you. and they claiming they love you through the BS, right? That's what they're saying. So other men, when they love other men because other men are producers and providers and protectors and et cetera, et cetera. But they love you despite the fact that you're defective and deficient, right? You are defective and deficient, but they love you anyway. And so familiarity breeds contempt. Other women, on the other hand, don't know you that well. They hear negative PR about you, but they're willing to get to know you. Black women swear, no, it ain't just negative PR. They are horrible. Okay then, right? And Will AR says, and thank you for the super chat. Will AR says, Rufus C. Hallman, U.S. Senator, Oregon Klansman, Rice, W means R, U.S. Senator, Colorado, Klansman, I see where you're going. Williams Bliss Pine, R, U.S. Senator, Oklahoma, Klansman, all Republicans who served in the Ku Klux Klan. Uh-oh. That brother backing me up, That brother backing me up. We're gonna have to have that conversation eventually because I know, there's a split in the black, and it's gonna be World War III, but there's a split in the black manosphere between left leaning and right leaning. I know I'm more left leaning in my politics, but I to me it's about bettering where black men are and protecting black men's image first. We can have our internal debates about politics after the fact, but it's about protecting our position. That's why y'all see when I have conversations with Conservative or Bernard Riley, or even when I've been on Obsidian's panel, right? These brothers are conservative, and it's been pretty good conversations. And everybody knows I'm left leaning. I make no bones about it, right? So, for me, that the most primary issue is black men. Then we could get into a conversation about our politics and why we have the politics we have as an individual, right? But I don't want brothers on the right to get lost in the sauce of you know the women are occupying the left. That's the snowflake side. That's the BLM side. That's the social justice warrior side. And I'm gonna be over here on the right because the right is for men, right? The left is for women and the right is for men. Let me say this. No, the left and the right are for men, and women get in where they fit in. Uh-oh. Y'all ain't never heard Mr. Z sound like that. The left and the right are for men. Right? And black men can occupy the left and the right of politics. And we're not even gonna, let's not forget about our brothers, our moderate brothers, our centrist brothers. But no, the left and the right are for men. Women get in where they fit in. Right? And so when I speak the way I do, I just like to remind brothers on the right. Y'all could say we got to deal with the purple hair feminists over here, right? And the LGBTQ squad and the social justice warriors, but y'all got to deal with the Klan and the neo-Nazis over there. So y'all could talk about, the Democrats and the KKK. The Klan is now on the right, right? Y'all got to deal with Richard Spencer and them over there, right? So that's the only thing I like to remind us is like, both political parties, because I don't even want to say align with, because I don't know if I align with the Democrats. I don't align with the Democrats. My politics are left leaning, right? But I don't. That's why I didn't vote for president this election or the previous election or the one before that. But what I'm getting at is both parties when you're voting for a candidate in either party, there's a whole lot of ugly stuff that comes with it. A whole lot of ugly. Are you okay with that? Or can you stomach it? There's a whole lot of ugly, right? And so that's all I'm saying. And and y'all know, look how I speak about the brothers on the right. I don't be trying to go at them like that. I'm look, if you're part of the Black Manosphere and your project is something to do with either helping Black men, benefiting Black men, putting Black men on the right path, talking to Black men about their finances, about their education, protecting the image of Black men, anything like that, right? Then to me, if that's your primary concern, that's my primary concern, right? So that's what it is for me. So Anubis, thank you for the super sticker, brother. Thank you very much. All right. So that's what it is for me. But oh, by the way, how did I forget to say this over the past 5 minutes? And we do this in front of our sons, right? We do this in front of the children, in front of our sons. This is definitely one of those "what about the children" moment. This is definitely one of those. Homegirl was so mad about whatever situation she was in, or she just was doing it for clout and attention. Pause. Don't miss the fact that a lot of these women are doing this for clout and attention. This is like their I'm part of the sisterhood calling card. Yeah, I didn't have a horrible experience. I didn't have horrible relationships. Shit, I might even be married, Rebecca Lynn Pope. Right? But let me go ahead and throw salt in the game because that's what the sisterhood is doing. That's how I let y'all know I'm still part of the sisterhood, even if I am married to a Black man and I'm not divorcing. Even if I do have a Black boyfriend and I'm not going nowhere, let me let y'all know I'm still alive. This is Kim Foster. No matter what's going on with me and my love life, I'm about the sisterhood. Women up first. Black women up first. So, don't ever let it be lost on you that some of the content that we're watching, these women don't actually have an issue with Black men in their individual lives. They're just doing this for the attention, for maybe the money, right? Like I said about Chrissy. Chrissy's just talking now. Y'all notice her content is getting more and more seldom, right? She's still doing numbers when she does put something out, but she's not putting something out once every other day. First of all, she doesn't have to because she's doing numbers. But secondly, because what is there to talk about? She doesn't have a story about how a Black man messed up this time all the time. Same thing with Paris. Paris doing numbers. Plus, she got her little side business too. Yanni, all of them not putting content out like they used to, twice a week, 3-4 times a week. No, they putting something out maybe once a week, once every other week. And I know for Chrissy, I think she actually has a day job, so that could be contributing to it. But yeah. So don't let it be lost on you that some of these people, they're just putting this content out because this is their bread and butter. This is where the money is. For the brother that was asking me about whether they're true believers, those people, yes, I do think. But some of these other female content creators, whether they're true believers or not, it's about the money. They'll make themselves true believers. If they have to believe in the soap to sell the soap, they'll believe in the soap. And once again, thank you very much for the super sticker, Anubis, and thank you for the super sticker also, LB. Thank you very much. Right? So we're about to end out. Mr. Z has to go do Mr. Z stuff. Right? Okay. Rebecca Lynn Pope, the light-skinned young lady in the car, the other young lady with that PragerU. I could have made a whole video alone on the young lady on, and I've seen her before. Yes, Mr. Zoom. I know about these young, conservative people of color that these white conservatives are trying to bring in so they could do the same thing the Democrats did. Look, we're not racist. We got black people regurgitating the white racist talking points too. Uh-oh. Right? So PragerU, yeah, I've seen this young lady before. Yes, I've watched a couple of her videos before. Yeah. So how fascinating is it now? And by the way, this also speaks to what I was saying before about white men preying on black women. You got the light-skinned, mixed, whatever black woman on PragerU showing another light-skinned, mixed-looking, she might not be, I don't think she is, but okay, light-skinned black women talking reckless about black men for the enjoyment of a mainly non-black audience for PragerU. Prager University. How is this supposed to work positively for black women in this country? Uh-oh. Right? Talking reckless about black men in front of a largely non-black white audience. White male audience. What, you think they're going to come and save you from Blackistan now? This is 2023. Let's see what that marriage rate look like by 2030. Let's see. For black women, let's see what that interracial marriage rate look like. All this divester swirler talk on the internet for over a decade. Let's see what that interracial marriage rate look like the next time they publish it. Let's see if it moved the needle an iota. Let's see if black women's marriage rate went up. Let's see if their interracial marriage rate went up. Or if their overall marriage rate went down, but their interracial marriage rate stayed the same. Or went up half a point. Because if only 15, 20, 30% of black women are getting married, and out of that, 20% of them are marrying interracially, that actually doesn't mean much. Because it's only accounting for the women that are married. Oops. Right? So yeah, throwing black men under the bus for white racists that watch PragerU. Yeah. Black women, let me know how that worked for you in a decade or two. Talking reckless about black men and how this y'all said that black men, this lady put this up of a black woman saying that, talking about black men and emotional labor and all this in front of white men. Hey, all right. I hope you know what you're doing. Right? I hope you know what you're doing. And on that note, we will pause right there truly. I was supposed to bring this to y'all yesterday. I got caught up with life. But thank y'all for listening in. And we can continue the conversation. I might stream later on tonight. That's a maybe. I don't even want to say it like I did yesterday because I damn near made it a promise yesterday and it didn't happen. So I might stream later on tonight. There's a couple of videos I want to cover. Like I said, I want to cover the Twitter tweet, right, of the young lady speaking about, you know, white dudes and these white dudes being with black women, even though they're racist as hell. And I actually want to cover Julesy speaking about Ebony K. Williams. I told y'all every single time, every time any one of y'all open your mouth about Ebony K. Williams, I'm there. Right? And as always, and thank you very much, Will AR. Thank you very much. And as always, the reason why is because, once again, Mr. Z loves talking class, loves talking income, loves talking black women and black man relationships, because I think that that is at the foundation of much of our angst in the black community. And the Ebony K. Williams conversation was all of that plus some rolled into one, right? And so I want to cover Julesy speaking about it, and more importantly, her comments, with the comments in her comment section were saying about this also. And finally, for those of you that never, because I've spoken about Julesy, and y'all, many of y'all have never gone to look up who she is, but y'all will finally see who I'm speaking about. I'll put the link in the description and we'll speak about it. And I actually might do that tonight because tomorrow's Sunday, right? Tomorrow maybe, probably, but maybe. we'll do a panel and a weekly wrap up, right? So that might be happening tomorrow morning, depending if life happens or not. You know, like I told y'all, I'm gonna try to make that something that happens more often on my channel. But yeah. And on that note, everybody, love, peace, and chicken grease. We will pause right here, right? We will pause right here. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, for the love of God, non-Manosphere content, so y'all don't sound like these young women who are speaking reckless about Black men and don't even know what's going on around the country and around the planet with men in general, right? Yeah, shout out to Medium Man, shout out to Obsidian, right? Shout out to Phil Scott, right? Yeah. Shout out to Bernard Riley, right? Because I got to cover something that Phil Scott said. That's why I brought him up. That's another brother that I got to cover something that he covered not too long ago. So yeah, we'll truly pause right here. Like I said, go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. And this is our Saturday afternoon video. All right, everybody. Y'all have a great rest of y'all day. Mr. Z out.